did you connect with the NFL to be a part of the Origins collection?
I got one of those magical emails one day, and it just said that we're interested in, I talked to you about a project that, would you be interested in hearing more about it? And I thought it was fake, so I ran it by my business manager, and he's like, "This is legit." So we started the conversation, and that was, last year, middle of last year, some August or whatever it was. Maybe before that, I don't know. Since then, it's just it's just been like nonstop. But yeah, so that's how it started.
That's awesome. And I saw the video where you said you tried out for football and then you were like, this is not for me. Like, does it feel a bit of a full circle moment to be part of such a big football event? Or
You know what? It's I think it's not so much full circle, but it feels nice that I guess the art kid in me as a kid, whenever I gave up on football at one point as a little kid, that I thought, oh, I have no space, that this is, I have nothing to do with this, It's nice because I've still been a fan of the sport. I have sons who are fans of the sport. I have a nephew who plays college ball who's like kind of on the trajectory to go to the pros. And so my wife's a huge football fan. What's nice about it is what I care about my life now and my art, what I do is kind of like crossing paths with what I actually do outside of the art world. And so this moment to me kind of checks that bucket list off, but also too, now I have my sons. I'm the first artist in my family. So I think having my two boys, my daughter as well, showing them that art is a viable thing, but at the same time too, is that art can sometimes integrate into these other elements of activities that we do in life. So whether that be sports or whatever, but yeah, so now it's full circle, so because they're my age that I was when I was like so in love with the sport, for the first time. So yeah, so now, I'm loving it again.
Good, yeah. I know, I love how different industries intersect so much these days.
Yeah.
You don't have to just be one thing. You can, yeah,
Exactly.
That's neat. Yeah, what are you teaching your kids through this process? I heard this project was like a very intense one for you. What do you just hope your kids see in this process?
I think the main thing that I've taught them is to be like, don't be afraid to like speak up for ourselves. With this project, I was a little not hesitant, but I was afraid that the NFL wouldn't want say thumbs up to my design approach, which was not the obvious, which is not to blast it with San Francisco or Bay Area and stuff like that. I really wanted these I call them works because this is kind of how I approach a canvas or any one of the murals that I do or sculptures. And so they were on board. And so that gave me a sense of like, yes, because I've kind of always carried that through life, right? I just, be authentic and kind of just like making sure that I show my sons and my daughter that, no matter how big of a stage you're on, just make sure that you are yourself, because the moment you start lying, you can't go back, it doesn't feel genuine. And I think people can see that and can feel it. So with this, and also too, my sons, they were kind of like a huge inspiration for how this design even came about. I had all these other designs that I was working on for months, and one day my son, came out of football practice, and he was talking about what the coach was telling him and the routes and things of that sort. And I started thinking about it because my work itself deals with like the movements that the hand does, taking that, transfer that information onto a canvas, but in a deconstructed way. But it's visual, like it's the audience that sees it feels that it feels familiar to them. So I want to take the idea of the sport and just bring it down to its most basic thing. And for me, the most basic thing is the play that a coach would, transcribe however they do, whether that's on, we have, you don't see here behind me, we have a black shirt with white. That kind of references the older days, the chalkboard, chalk on chalkboard. You have the black on white. Did I say that? Obviously, white on black, and then black on white, which is referencing like an expo marker on a dry erase board. And then you have the gray version as well, which is kind of our nod to like, the gray San Francisco fog. So that was nice because my kids, my sons, feel like, oh wow, like I did that too. Like they may not be artists, but they still know that, these ideas and us having these conversations can turn into moments like this, so they feel very proud. that makes me really good. So,
That's all you can ask for, right?
yeah, that's all I can ask for, you know. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
That's awesome. And Origins helps uplift minority artists, and the NFL has been very intentional with their Por la Cultura campaign, and they have Bad Bunny as the
Yes.
halftime show. Like,
So when Bad Bunny decided to take his stance on making sure that he's authentic to himself and like not everybody's like, go sing in English and stuff like that. He's like, no, I'm doing Spanish. I think I had that same kind of design approach too as well. It's like I have to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm not going to do something that I wouldn't do. I have to stay authentic to my voice. And again, I think and NFL Origins Project, they really leaned into it. I said, yes, like we're on board with you too as well. Be yourself. Don't feel like just because like it's this moment you have to do something that you normally wouldn't do. So that being you don't really see too many Mexican artists, Mexican players on the field. So this for me is another way to kind of just get my culture fans of proud Mexican fans out there, whoever they may be, that support the art, support the movement, support our culture. And so it's a big moment right now. I think especially with Bad Bunny on stage, we just had, he just won that award 2 days ago for having the first, Spanish only album that won, best album of the year in the Grammy. So that, watching that acceptance speech, literally I was like, oh my God, like it was moving. It was really moving. It brought a little tear to my eye. And I think moments like that, I think being an artist, I'm looking at it from this moment as like an inward motion, but I'm sure hopefully my son's kind of, or my family or whoever it is, my audience feels that way too as well. I think I always make sure that I speak up for, my culture, and I speak up for my community, I speak up for my city, I speak up for, just social justice, period. And that's something with all the work that I do, I used to be an educator. I taught art for 10 years to kids. So I think a big part of my mission is making sure that my work that I produce is a vehicle for, informing people.
anything else you want to share with the people?
Those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Aaron Cruz. I'm a visual artist based in San Francisco. Usually known for canvases and murals and sculptures. It's my first time doing a cut and sew collection and a merchandise collection on my own, so I'm very nervous. And so support it if you can. Go to aarondelacruz.com. It releases at 12 a.m. tonight. And those of you on Instagram, at Aaron Dela Cruz, we have a big surprise coming out tomorrow that involves the entire city. So for those of you speaking of movement, speaking of playmaking, and speaking of educating and putting my city on the map, like this is for those of you that are visiting from out of town, and even those of you that might live here, it's going to be a really awesome surprise. So tune in and follow the stories, whatever it may be, because it's going to go down tomorrow.